Fox Business Alert solar stocks continue to burn brightly a day after Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, revealed his ambition to use the sun's rays to power data centers in space. The minute he said that yesterday afternoon, SolarEdge took off. If you look at the two-day charts here, and maybe we can show them, what a huge jump for stocks that they've actually been doing well, depending on which level you're looking at, 6 months or a year. But SolarEdge up 5%, Enphase gaining 10%, Sunrun up 10% over just 2 days. This comes as Musk is ramping up his effort to scale SpaceX, pursuing an IPO that would have the company valued at $1.5 trillion. But there's a much smaller company that's actually closer to capturing the sun's rays from space than Elon is. Aetherflux founder and CEO Baiju Bhatt. He is one of the co-founders of Robinhood. He's here in a Fox Business exclusive. Baiju, when Elon made those comments, I said, get Baiju on the show. What was your reaction when he said, this is a no-brainer because the sun burns 24/7 in space, and here on Earth, we're going to run out of electricity to run all these data centers?
Agree wholeheartedly. We've been talking about this idea and the importance of building power infrastructure in orbit for 2 years almost now, or as I've been talking about it publicly, at least for the last year and a half. So yeah, it's amazing to see the support of other people that are also seeing the opportunity we are. And I've made the joke a couple of times now that it took a billionaire with more money than we to say this for people to believe it is a good idea.
And let's talk about exactly what you are doing and how far along you are, because you've been on the show. You've got these satellites that unfold in space. We've got video of how they actually work, or are supposed to work, because you have yet to launch one, but they're about 13 feet long, about 900 pounds. And tell us what they do.
Yeah, so the satellites, we have 2 satellites that we're targeting putting into space this year. The first one, this summer, is actually going to demonstrate optical power beaming from low Earth orbit, which we believe is a world's first. So collecting solar power in orbit and then beaming that power down to the ground to contested environments, places where there isn't an existing power grid. And this idea of power beaming from space stems from the bigger idea, which is building a power grid in orbit. And the thing that's new that we're really focused on right now is actually taking the biggest consumer of energy on Earth, which is artificial intelligence, and actually putting those chipsets directly in orbit in this idea of solar-powered artificial intelligence satellites.
Okay, hold up.
So this is kind of the...
I'm saying hold up because you said by this summer. Let me just let our viewers hear what Elon said, and he said it'll be a year to 2 years before he can do what he has ambitions for. Here's what he said.
The SpaceX and Tesla teams both separately are working to build to 100 gigawatts a year of solar power in the U.S., of manufactured solar power. That'll probably take us, I don't know, about 3 years. It's really all about the sun. And that's why one of the things we'll be doing with SpaceX within a few years is launching solar-powered AI satellites.
Right.
Because the space is really the source of immense power.
And this is what you knew all along, Baiju, but tell me what your challenges are and how you are in conversations, as we hear, with SpaceX to actually launch your satellites.
Correct. So we're using the SpaceX rideshare program to get our missions in orbit. So that's what we're targeting for the summer. We actually have another one that we're targeting for the fall. And to clarify, the first one that goes up is going to demonstrate power beaming, so less on the compute and artificial intelligence side. But shortly thereafter, we do want to have assets in orbit that do that. What we call this initiative is called the Galactic Brain. And as we think about our ambitions here, we start out with single-digit kilowatt class satellites. So these are built on top of Apex buses that we've talked about previously, Apex being the partner that we're working with. And from there, we're scaling to what we call the kilobrain satellites. So, 20-ish kilowatt class satellites that can host a node of interconnected GPUs for inference purposes. And our ambitions are actually bigger than this. And so more to come on this in the future, but we start with the mini brain, we go to the kilobrain, and you can use your imagination to kind of guess what the next couple of steps there are.
And at least Elon said it's a no-brainer. It makes sense to go to space to capture solar, which burns 24/7 in space. You don't have to worry about clouds, et cetera. But power, not chip production, is the primary bottleneck that is limiting AI data center production, not to mention sucking up the energy that a lot of people need for their utilities. We got a huge storm coming. It was interesting. President Trump said in his Davos speech that only leaders and countries that use solar and wind are, as he put it, stupid. And yet Texas, he's calling Texas stupid. Texas has played an outsized role in using solar among all the other boxes to check. And Texas alone accounted for the largest absolute increase in solar output. And that basically shows we need to get demand from we need to serve demand from everywhere.
Correct. I think the United States has huge natural gas resources, which is probably what President Trump is pointing towards. And I agree that those are critical resources that we should use. But the real sort of reference point here is what the Chinese are doing. And I've said this a bunch of times. Elon mentioned this as well. But they're so far ahead of us in energy production. When you look at the artificial intelligence landscape, there's a few factors that kind of go into what drives progress, right? Is it the models and the consumer layer? Is it the compute? Is it the chipsets? Or is it the energy production and the energy infrastructure? And all signs, at least as we see them, are pointing towards the energy part of this being one of the significant bottlenecks, right?
Yeah.
As chip manufacturing scales up, it's how can you bring these things online? And the thesis that we have is that rather than dealing with the traditional path of building data centers on the ground, which kind of takes this artificial intelligence technological progress and it kind of slows it down to construction pace of, digging dirt, running power lines, building power plants, where on the other hand, what we're proposing is actually when you've got the chipsets, you integrate them into satellites.
Right.
That takes weeks, months, correct?
Okay. Well, you're asking me?
And
I didn't do so well in astronomy at Berkeley. But Baiju, we got to run. This is fascinating. I feel like you and your team are on the edge of really fascinating stuff. We'll continue to watch it. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Talk soon.